Hi, I'm Pete and welcome to Just a Few Acres Farm. There is life popping up and popping out all over the place on our farm, and I want to do a quick video today and show you that. The first thing I want to show you is our first Dexter calf of the year. And this calf came like so many Dexter calves do. Hillary went out to close the chickens at dusk last night, and lo and behold, here's a brand new calf, about 15 minutes old, still wet, and mom licking it off. This calf had come from Tulip. She's a first-time heifer, and they're still doing the dance. Sometimes with first-time heifers, both mom and calf have to get used to how nursing works. So we had one heifer where the mom was so obsessed with licking the calf off all the time and getting the calf scent that the calf could never get into position to nurse, and it took them a long time, hours, for the calf to finally settle in and mom to settle in. So it's always an issue with first calf heifers. We rarely have problems with calving, and that's one of the great things about Dexter cattle. It's common for us to come out and see a calf first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening, and we don't have to help them. We've never had to pull a calf, which is in contrast to the vet shows that Hillary and I watch on TV, where it seems like every episode the vet's out pulling a calf. We've had probably, I don't know, someplace between 20 and 40 calves here on the farm. Never had to pull one. The only calving problem that we ever had here, let me set this down, is we had an older mom who was about 10 years old, and this was our fault more than anything else. She had her calf, and we came out and got the calf a little too early. The calf was about 24 hours old. Mom got really upset that we were taking the calf in to dehorn it and castrate it. She got quite excited and jumped around and wound up hurting the nerves in her rear hips, which were probably already sensitive from calving. And she went down for a couple days. The Cornell vets came, they gave her some cortisone shots. We brought water out to her, and she wound up getting up after 3 days. We were really worried. That cow is still with us, and she has a calf every year. She's a great mom. So other than that, no problems. I can remember when we used to have to watch our cows carefully when I was a kid, when it was time to calve, because we also then had to pull calves once in a while. But even with first calf heifers like Tulip here, calving is never a problem. There's quite a few things you want to look for. Oh, mom's going to go chase her, or him, I should say. There's quite a few things you want to look for when a Dexter calf is first born, or any calf for that matter. The mom should lick the calf off right after it's born and get all the afterbirth off of it, and its fur should start to pop up and be loose and dry. The calf should walk within an hour or two at most of being born, and the calf should also nurse. Look, he's going to another mom. Nope, that's not my mom. By the way, the calf will bond with the mom and the mom with the calf through scent mainly. The cow knows which calf is hers just by smell. Anyway, things that happen in the first few hours. So mom cleans the calf off. The calf has to nurse within the first few hours to get colostrum, which contains a lot of antibodies, which will protect the calf from disease. And the calf really should be on its feet like this, wandering around, curious. And mom and calf should be together as a group, not mom off someplace else while the calf's wandering around. See how she's keeping track of her calf? That's the beginnings of a good motherly instinct. The other thing that the cows will do in the first 24 hours or so is they'll do what we call the meet and greet, where every cow in the herd comes over and gives the calf a good sniff and checks it out and sort of welcomes it to the herd, and from then on knows it by its scent and who its mom is. Our normal process after a calf is born is we wait about 48 hours, and then we'll take the calf into my workshop. We'll tag it, we'll dehorn it, we'll castrate it. We prefer to do that at a very young age. I think it's better for the calf in the long run. They forget about it, they heal quicker. We've castrated calves at 5 months old before, and it is a frickin' nightmare because they're big and it just is a lot more traumatic to the animal. So we do it early. And that'll be the subject of another video. Now, on to one of my favorite expressions, and that is farming is what happens while you're making big plans. I was upset last night when Hillary came in and said there was a new calf in the pasture, because they're still in the winter pasture here. And I do not like having calves in the winter pasture. When it rains, it gets muddy. I do not like new calves on mud. I do not like the possibility of them drinking dirty water from a puddle. And so we time our calves so that they happen when they're out on green grass and out of this winter pasture. Normally we would have the cows out by now, but there's barely any grass in the field. So now I'm faced with the decision, with 5 more calves coming in the 2 weeks, or due at least, of whether to keep them in here or bring them out in the field, with the problems of feeding them hay when they're in the field because there's barely anything to eat, ruining my fields with hay, and also the hay getting wet because we've had a lot of rainy weather, and also them muddying up the fields with all the traffic on them that's going to happen before the grass really gets growing and stabilizes the ground. There's always somebody messing around out here while I'm trying to do videos, knocking around the tripod, headbutting. Hey, little guy. Hiya. We also have 2 litters of piglets, 3 weeks old and 1.5 weeks old, and there couldn't be a bigger difference between the moms and their litters. The first piglets came from our sow Missy here, and this was about her 5th litter, and we're finally convinced that poor Missy's not a very good mom, and I'm sorry for saying that, Missy. But she had 13 piglets, and they were born on a cold, rainy day. We brought them in to dry them off, but we still lost about 5 of them due to the cold and due to the fact that her piglets just aren't very vigorous. They don't get up and move around as quickly as we would expect them to. Then, to compound that, Missy either laid on or stepped on about 5 more piglets, so now we're left with 2 little guys. So unfortunately, Missy won't be making piglets anymore. She's going to be making sausage in the fall, which is sad because I like her otherwise. The second litter was by our sow Red here, and Red is an awesome mother. This is her 2nd litter. She had 11 piglets. They were all born vigorous. You can see there's a smaller red runt in there, but he's doing just fine. When they come out, they get right up, they clean off, they start to nurse while she's still in labor, and she rarely ever steps or lays on one. She's careful where she puts her feet. So there's a real contrast in breeding stock for pigs between good moms and bad moms. So the consequence of Missy's lack of motherly traits is we're growing out a new gilt now, and her name's Brownie. We got her from a neighboring farm, and she's going to become our next sow. And our brooder house is full of new life. We've got 3-week-old chicks on one side, we've got 1-week-old chicks on the other side, and I'll tell you, it couldn't be better timing for growing these chicks because it seems like every day I got customers asking us for chicken, and I keep telling them 3 or 4 weeks. We're moving along as fast as we can. We're facing a real hard choice regarding what to do with this first batch of chicks, because normally we would move them out on the pasture at 3 weeks old. It's too cold and rainy outside. They won't do very well right now. So our choices are keep them in here, expand them into the 3rd pen, or risk putting them out onto the pasture. The issue with both is they're going to grow slower in the brooder. Every day we keep them in the brooder, we lose a percentage of their growth. I don't know why, but that's just the way it works. If we put them out pasture, we're going to lose a percentage of our growth due to the cold and wet. So again, another tough choice to make. And in about a week and a half, this brooder house will be full up. We'll have these broilers growing in both pens with replacement batches for each alternating. Plus we'll have 175 replacement layer chicks in about a week and a half coming to occupy the 3rd big brooder pen. If I've learned one thing from farming, it's that plans never go according to plan, and a lot of the time it's Mother Nature that gets in the way. But also one of the things that I love about farming is that it's improvisational. So when things do get in the way of your plans, you have to figure out how to solve them and how to move forward. And that's always a part of dealing with new life on the farm. Even though it's rainy and cold outside, we have to do our job and take care of the new animals that are being born. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back on Tuesday with another video about how we're dealing with the virus in terms of farm business and how it's changed our farm business, sort of an update. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.